In the absence of Manoj, I would like to introduce the next talk. The next talk is on the development of the regional rapid transport system in India, which has been undertaken initially from Delhi to Meerut. We are very happy to have with us today Mr. V K Singh, who will be talking to us about the system. The moderator for the system is Mr. Vinu Mathur. Vinu Mathur happens to be the president of the Rail Enthusiast Society and also one of its founding members. He was a professional railwayman who retired from railway service as a member of the Indian Railway Board. So I will now hand over to Mr. Vinu Mathur to initiate this session. Over to you,
Vinu. Thank you, Jael. I have pleasure in introducing Vinay Kumar Singh. He has been a colleague of mine on the Northern Railway. By education, he is a civil engineer. He did his civil engineering from Allahabad and his MTech in civil engineering from IIT Delhi. He is worked on Western Railway. He's worked on Delhi Metro. He's worked in the Railway Board. He was for some time the CEO of the High Speed Rail Corporation. And more recently, he was the managing director of the NCRTC, which is the National Capital Transport Regional Railway Corporation. He, in many ways, is a pioneer. Yesterday, we had the talk about, the Vande Bharat train and the work that was done by the general manager of ICF and ICF by itself. Now, V K Singh has been a pioneer in NCRTC in the development of the NCRTC, of this regional network about which he will give you greater details. But he has come up with a lot of novel ideas, and what is most remarkable, Mr. Sondi said yesterday that projects in India take a very long time to implement. But here is one person who has, as a leader, has achieved remarkable success, and in a very short period of time, he has completed this project from Meerut to Delhi. What is remarkable is in any such project, you first have to create a team. After that, you have to find the finances. And in this case, it was particularly difficult because this is a joint project by the central government and 3 or 4 state governments. So coordinating with them was a big challenge, which he accomplished very successfully. So he was the managing director of the NCRTC. He left some time back. He is a greatly respected individual. So I won't like to stand between you and him and request Vinay to kindly start his presentation.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. In fact, I am thankful to you as your colleague, and you are my immediate boss also. I learned a lot from you, which has helped me in shaping this project to some extent. And my almost like 25, 27 years of stint with the Indian Railways in different capacities. All that helped a lot in developing this organization, rather which got evolved because I was the first person when I started NCRTC. It was just a paper company. I'm talking of July 2016. Slowly we built up a team of experts, and we took about 3 years to get the project sanctioned. Today, I'm thankful to Rail Enthusiast Society, Mr. Jael Singh, and to you personally for giving me this opportunity to share some of the things about NCRTC and the project itself. I'm very happy and proud that I got opportunity to work on this project and lead the project. I know that within given time of 30-35 minutes, it may not be possible to touch many aspects, but I'll try to cover up some of the aspects of this wonderful project. I'll just share my screen and the presentation. I hope it is visible to all of us.
Yes, visible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is a picture from the depot when we got the first 5 or 6 trains. All these trains manufactured in the country itself, the fastest trains which are running in the country as on date. We are very proud that we could manufacture these trains, these kind of trains which are quite advanced in the country. Almost like 85% of the content is local, which was one of the uh, emphasis in the contract, not directly written as such, but we could get that kind of local content in these trains. And the best part about these trains is that these were designed also in the Hyderabad center of Bombardier, now called Alstom. So I'll go back a little bit and miss why we went for regional trains and means which particular kind of space it is filling in. As we know, we have very, since yesterday, we are seeing that we are talking about the history of Indian Railways and the national railways and other international railway systems. Other than Indian Railways at the national level means I'm talking of more than 150, 200 kilometers. Then airlines are there, and then high-speed bullet train we are building and other countries have built. The national highways are also a very important link now in India for longer distances. At city level, we have now metro systems in large number of cities, very well running. And some of the cities now have bus rapid transit systems. And city buses are in large number of cities in India and otherwise also internationally. Last mile connectivity also, now we have all kind of last mile connectivity, including the e-rickshaws, which are battery operated rickshaws. But there was a very clear gap as far as a rail-based regional movement is concerned for, let us say, 100, 150 kilometers. So either there are Indian Railway passenger trains or some interstate buses, but this link is quite weak and which can be filled by regional trains. Other many European countries and Asian countries have regional trains. For India, it was the first attempt. And the whole story started somewhere in 2005, 2006, when Ministry of Urban Development thought of having this kind of system in NCR. So initially they envisaged 8 corridors. Presently, out of those 8, we are working on 3 corridors, which is namely the Delhi Meerut, Delhi Panipat, and Delhi Alwar corridors. These three corridors will make about 350 kilometers of regional network, and the stations are almost like 5 to 7 kilometers on each one of these corridors. The effort is to reach a distance of say about 150 kilometers within 1 to 1.5 hours. If we see these 3 corridors, the Delhi Meerut is the first corridor which has been taken up. The Panipat and Alwar corridor, part of the Alwar corridor, these are being taken up maybe this year sometime. The projects are expected to be sanctioned and work will start within say about 1 year or so. NCR consists of about an area of 55,000 square kilometers and a population of about 70 million, which is almost like some of the European countries, including countries like Spain, which has almost 45 million population. So it is very densely populated area, and we have seen in last few years that whatever we do, whatever number of flyovers we construct, whatever expressways we provide, but very soon all this gets congested. And In fact, if you travel from Delhi to Gurugram any day in the peak time in the morning or evening, a distance of hardly 20-25 kilometers, which take anything about 2 hours to 2.5 hours, that to by car, if you are having a car, privately owned car. In public transport terms, there is no system as of today available which can probably take a common man across these boundaries or the borders of a state seamlessly. Whereas the RRTS trains, which will be running almost at a speed of 160 km per hour, which is the operational speed against a design speed of 180 km per hour. And with stoppage every 5 to 7 kilometers, the net commercial speed which will be available to passengers will be of the order of say 95 to 100 km per hour. Now, something very interesting when we started these corridors, then I saw that due to the complexity of the primary structure of this project, that 4 state governments and 1 central government, the way DPRs were prepared, each consultant suggested a separate terminal for each one of the corridor in Delhi. So we realized that probably this is not the right solution. And if people have to move from one terminal to another terminal within Delhi also, then the concept of seamless movement of passengers or the trains is not being achieved. Then we worked on the new scheme, and as per the present scheme, all the 3 corridors are merging at Sarai Kale Khan, which is the Nizamuddin station in New Delhi. And the arrangement at Nizamuddin, or as we call it, Sarai Kale Khan, at this station is that trains can seamlessly move from one corridor to another corridor, and passengers have not to shift or change the trains or transfer from one train to another, which reduces the travel time by anything between 5 to 10 minutes in each one of these such transfer. So practically now all the 3 corridors in up to 100-150 kilometers deep into the states, they can bring or evacuate passengers from Delhi or airport or from any one of the railway stations to back to these smaller cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities in the states. Now, if we see the first corridor, which is Delhi Metro, which is under implementation, practically 90% of the project is over, and still from the target date, we are 5 to 6 months early. The majority of the corridors could be implemented and operationalized within a period of say about 5 years, which included 2 years of COVID pandemic also. I'll be touching on some of the challenges which we had while implementing this project and how we navigated those. So broadly, if you see in terms of infrastructure, this particular corridor, about 70%, 70 kilometers of the corridor is elevated, and about 12 kilometers it is underground. There are 16 RRTS stations. And if you see on the right hand side upper corner, the last 21 kilometers or so, there is a metro system also. So that means in those 4 stations of RRTS, there are in between metro stations. The infrastructure is same, the signaling system, the OHE, the tracks, viaduct, everything is same, except the stations that where there is a facility available to overtake metro trains by the RRTS trains, whether it is underground station or elevated. In both the situations, that option is available. Already trials on that systems are going on. Since we used ETCS level 2 signaling system and high-speed turnouts, when I say high-speed, this is not really high-speed, but much better than the normal turnouts which we use on Indian Railways, and the loss of time to RRTS trains on those 21, 22 kilometers by providing this kind of integration is of the order of about 55 seconds, which is not very high. And if we can get the services of metro on the similar system, on the same system, so not only that we provide a very good integration between metro and RRTS, but the in terms of saving and the capital investment is of the order of around 6,300 crores. Now I'm touching some of the challenges which we had while implementing this project of such a high complexity and very, very large size. One very interesting part of the implementation is that due to 4 states and national capital, the the number of stakeholders, and when I'm saying stakeholder, I'm just talking about the government sector, the public stakeholders, not the private stakeholders, because if we include that also, then we were probably dealing with few thousand private landowners also. So these 100 stakeholders, basically different offices, different institutions, from where we had to take approvals, clearances, approvals. Then when we went for implementation, the requirement of Make in India provisions in the multilateral funded contract. So on the one side, multilateral funded contract were having this requirement that we should not stop any one of the member countries from participating in the procurement process. On the other side, we were working with a lot of passion and enthusiasm to bring in Make in India provisions as much as possible. So this was a contradictory requirement, which very successfully we could handle. The implementation timeline, the first time, the kind of timeline which was fixed for this complex project was only 6 years. And as I was mentioning earlier, that COVID also happened. As soon as we started, the first 6 months, we could start some work, and suddenly then COVID happened. And no one across the world was prepared for that. But fortunately, I'll be touching some of the technologies which we were using, the methodologies, processes that helped us in navigating that bad time also. On technology front, we had many challenges. The no civil engineering structure earlier, whether railway or any other kind, was constructed in the country for a design speed of 180 kilometers per hour. While metros were almost like 90 kilometers per hour, the Indian railway tracks were quite different. And we needed a track which can take this kind of a speed, having very low maintenance, and can provide very steady movement on the track. Simultaneously, we were worried about, because there had been some bad experience, not only on some metros, but internationally also. Well, the new kind of tracks were introduced. Those gave some problem which were very difficult to handle. And in some cases, even track was dismantled on some of the projects. The OHE was also one challenge. On signaling side, we had very major challenge, because the CBTC, which was the signaling system being used by metros, was not proven for 180 kilometer design speed. On the other side, when we choose the ETCS level 2 signaling system, the challenge was entirely different, because within Europe, it was not tried on LTE, and we knew that the existing technology, the spectrum which it was being used, was going to be obsolete in 5 to 6 years. So a project which was coming in the transition phase of this, some of the components getting obsolete in the coming years. One second. see, we decided, no, we'll go with the technology which is going to remain here, and it should not become obsolete quickly. And then we chose to go for LT communication backbone for ETCS2 signaling. The interesting point was that even Europe, which is the European train control system, but even the Europe, they had not by that time selected LT as, or no project was implemented on LT by that time. The rolling stock had its own challenges because we wanted a modern rolling stock, high performing rolling stock with 180 km per hour. So there are various parameters on which we were discussing. We had some of the very, very long discussion with the rolling stock manufacturers, and then we could finalize the specifications. The good thing is that finally the whole system got operated in the first go. Whatever we had decided, the system, the trials and the approvals by the CMRS and those kind of statutory authorities, including Indian Railway Board. So it came out very successfully. And in the first go itself, we could run the trains at 180 km per hour very successfully. There is a Government of India policy which says that we should go for privatization of operation and maintenance. This was also tried in bits and pieces by some of the metro systems, but comprehensively for the first time, we designed a framework and a procurement system through which we could bring Deutsche Bahn as our maintainer and operator in a very, very comprehensive long-term contract. Similarly, the rolling stock also we gave on the maintenance also we gave on contract for a long period of 15 years. This is just a list which I wanted to share to the number of stakeholders which we had with, and the almost like every 1 year or 2 years within these departments, although the officer will get changed, the relevant officer, the concerned officer with whom your team is interacting will get changed, and the new officer will start challenging the basic premises of the project. Why, in some of the officers, they said, why, sir, you are doing this project? We are spending too much money. We can go for a maybe bus system, which can produce similar kind of outcomes. So we were facing, or the team was facing that kind of challenge, bringing people on the table which have similar kind of ideas or who can understand that why this kind of project, which is primarily a urban development project where through urban transport, the whole idea is to decongest Delhi and some of the NCR areas so that the issues of pollution, congestion, and providing infrastructure to large number of people can be resolved. It is not just a simple transport project. The objectives are entirely different than normally what we think. So coming back to this issue of challenges or the risk in such a complex and big project, we understood that this being a new railway system and something which is different than Indian Railways or the metro systems which are already operational in the country, we got a new schedule of dimension, design basis reports, and then many other standards laid down for RRTS systems. The issues like alignment design for higher speed, and then this issue of private land being acquired or will not be able to acquire, what kind of complexities will come, to what extent we can use the public land, which is the government held land, which has already been acquired. And this was some kind of two-way process. So sometimes we see what land is available and what kind of alignment we can take without compromising with the speed of the system, the final speed which we are going. And then because the system packages were all through the system of 82 kilometers, whereas the civil contract packages were in a smaller size, to ensure that we get good competition in each and every package. It is important that we break the packages in sizes which are from the implementation viewpoint and simultaneously from the eligibility viewpoint in a public procurement that we can get good response of contractors. Yeah, so I'm sorry, there was some technical glitch. I'll come back to where I was. I hope I am
Yes, no, we can hear you.
the
Thank you.
video and the screen sharing is functioning properly.
It's
The
fine.
screen is okay. We can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you. And sorry for that glitch. So I was just discussing the issue of the challenges and the risks which the project had at that stage. And the higher design introduced lot many other complexities, including noise, vibrations, and maybe there will be tomorrow due to some vibration. There may be challenge. The whole system may get litigations. We may invite litigation from the people staying closer to these tracks, especially the tunnels, because Delhi Metro had many litigations from the general public, uh, where they had complained to the courts about the vibration by the metro trains. So we were very conscious about these issues, and we wanted to handle them at the planning stage itself. So just to handle these things and to guide the NCRTC, we had created a technically advisory group consisting of eminent railway experts, some IIT professor, industry experts, and we also had some uh, international MOUs and national MOUs with like ADIF from Spain. Spain, very interestingly, Spain has a large number of technologies which they have implemented on their system. Means simultaneously they have three kind of electrification, four types of signaling system. They have the gauge changing mechanism with them. They have that natural pendulum suspension system, and they operate the railway systems on these different kind of technologies very successful. And Spain has the second largest high speed track within Europe, and they run trains from those kind of signaling system to the 320-kilometer kind of trains. So we had this MOU with ADIF. We took some of the ideas or some their experience. We learned from their experiences. One very interesting risk mitigation which I decided was that we'll give the very clear sights to contractors. Presently, the most of the metros, they follow a system or a strategy where they give the risk of shifting the utilities to the big contractors. The NCRT's approach was entirely different. We said no, we'll give clear sites. The the designing responsibility also was taken up by NCRTC, because these are new kind of designs, whether it was civil engineering structures or any other requirements, including the shifting of utilities. We took up all that upon ourselves, and we gave very clear sites to contractors, which helped a lot in expediting the project. I discussed these issues of signaling for the globally for the first time. RRT's project use ETCS level 2 over LT, and even the European railway systems, large number of experts came to see how we could do it in such a short period and ahead of Europe. Track, we introduced a new kind of track. We purchased the IPR. It was with one Austrian company, and we designed the track ourselves and implemented through the Indian contractors. It was a very high risk area, but NCRTC decided that we'll take up in that particular manner, so that we have those capabilities with us for the next corridor or for any other project within the country for that kind of speed or higher speeds. In fact, very interestingly, the Mumbai Ahmedabad, the track teams, for them, this project became a training ground, and especially the factory which we established for manufacturing the track slabs. The interoperability, I was discussing the initial part of the presentation. The interoperability is also something which is very, very a new idea, and the trains can move from one corridor to another. Now, this is it. It is not that simple as we talk. I'm trying to make it a little simplified, but this requirement of interoperability, this imposes a lot of discipline on uh, organization itself and the technology partners in general. The standardization of rolling stock and standardization of the traction system, standardization of track, everything automatically happens the moment we go for interoperability. And that has helped us a lot. Then one big thing which we did for this kind of big project in India was adopting building information modeling. So building information modeling is an ecosystem in which we create 3D models of any facility which we are going to construct on the project, and that provides few things which make the implementation much faster and easier. So initially, it looks as if we are doing something which is making things complex, but once the team becomes comfortable with the BIM or 3D modeling, then it helps a lot in executing complex projects, uh, especially having viaducts and tunnels. Uh, then we went for the digital project and asset management. We were monitoring the project through our in-house tool called Speed. In fact, this tool was developed by our own IT team, and later on it became a commercially available product. And the integrated asset management system, because we had this data or 3D data of each and everything which was being used on the system, it became quite easy to shift that data into AMS. And today the AMS system very comprehensively, it has data about not only civil engineering structure, but anything which is being utilized in making the system happen. The integration of metro with the RRTS infra, I discussed in Meerut, the RRTS trains and metro trains are running on the same system. Few things like in financial initiatives also, we could bring in some new concepts which will help the other projects also. Not only that, it helped NCRTC, it will help the other projects also. The one ADB loan, ADB, AIB, and National New Development Bank (NDB), these three multilaterals were financing the project. And once we realized that dollar is appreciating too fast, and we have not captured that kind of inflation in the dollar while calculating the financial health of the project, then we requested the Ministry of Finance to convert our loan, ADB loan, which was in US dollar, to JPY, the Japanese yen. And it was such a new thought process that there was a lot of shock when they started examining this proposal. And ADB agreed to our request, and finally the Ministry of Finance also agreed to that request. And I'm very happy to share that just by doing this, we could manage to reduce the burden of about 100 crore rupees per year on the company. And this product, which has got now established as one method of maybe managing the finances or the loan repayment, I think many other projects in the government of India or states will get helped by that. Now, coming to one very interesting part of the planning and implementation is multimodal integration on RRTS project. So the effort from the day one was that if we can bring in these 3-4 public transport system as close to each other. See, some of these systems are already existing, whether it is Indian Railways or the airports, their location of their stations is already there. So our effort was to take the RRTS corridor to these stations or facilities in such a way that for passengers, it becomes very easy to move from one system to another. If you see, like we could integrate Delhi Airport, Indian Railway Station, Sarai Kale Khan, which is Nizamuddin Station, and Anand Vihar Station. Then all the 7 lines of Delhi Metro, either one or more than one stations on each line with the RRTS system. So people can move from any line of the Delhi Metro to RRTS and vice versa, making it very easy to move when all the 3 corridors will get implemented within Delhi and NCR. The even city bus, I'll show you some of the pictures how we could do it. And it became very, very integrated system. Now, if you see this picture, this is about Anand Vihar. On the top, if we see, that is the Indian Railway Anand Vihar station. On the left hand side, there are 2 metro lines. And just after that, it is the bus stand ISBT of by GNCTT, the Delhi government. And on the bottom left side, which is not visible in this picture, is a ISBT of government of UP, the state government of UP. And just at the center is sitting RRTS station, a underground RRTS station, which is almost at the center, and within 50 to 100 meters, there are many transport means. Now I'll show you how it actually looks. This was at the planning stage. And if you see today, so Anand Vihar, Namo Bharat station, now we are fortunate that this name Namo Bharat came to these trains. And now we call it Namo Bharat trains or Namo Bharat system. It is sitting just at the center. On the back, we can see Anand Vihar railway station, very close. On the left hand side, 2 metro stations, pink line and blue line, Anand Vihar ISBT. And at the bottom, we can see bus terminus of government of UP. Now, these systems are connected through footover bridges on our left and some new bridges. 2 new bridges were constructed by NCRTC, which are just at the center of the picture. So passengers can move very, very smoothly and seamlessly from one transport mode to another transport mode without cutting the path of other transport modes, and very seamless integration. Similarly, we could do now this picture, if we see, this is the Meerut integration of RRTS infrastructure with Meerut Metro. There is a small video, if you see, means as railwayman, we do it every station where the trains bypass each other. But in urban transport project, this is something which is not normal, but we could do it. The metro trains in Meerut, so they will come, and when they are standing at the station for like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, the RRTS trains will move or they will go through the stations. Now, in situations like underground stations and elevated, this is quite a complicated construction in terms of the civil engineering challenges. But once you do it, if we don't think the problems at the project stage, then these systems will serve very efficiently to lakhs and lakhs of passengers for next 100 years. So with that thought, we kept on working on these complex situations. One more very interesting thing which we are doing in Meerut is, see at the center of this map, if you see, there is a bus station called Bhaisali. And whereas the metro line, the red line, north-south line, is basically the new metro which is being implemented. Now the about 1200 to 1400 buses, they enter into the city. You see the congestion on the right hand side. This kind of traffic situation is there in throughout the city, and 1200 to 1400 buses, they enter into the city and come out. So we talked to the state government and we proposed them that if Bhaisali bus stand can be shifted to both ends of the metro system as direction terminals, then probably there is no need to take the buses within the city, and people can travel from these 2 direction terminals within the city through metro systems. So rather than competing with each other, the metro system and the bus system, they will be complementing each other. With some persuasion, state government agreed with that idea, and not only that, the city will get decongested. About 10 acres of land at the heart of the city has been given to NCRTC, which can be exploited commercially, which is worth in the market terms, if you see, should be almost like 800 crore or so today. And the construction of new bus stands have been taken up within the project cost of RRTS. So this is kind of win-win situation, not only for these two organizations, but for the city itself. I'll be just touching one or two points here. The operation and maintenance, I told, as I was just discussing, the comprehensive 12-year O&M contract to Dostban. And comprehensively, they will be maintaining. Their fees is fixed. Any kind of even repairs up to a certain cost per repair, it is part of their contract. Then procurement and maintenance contract of rolling stock is with the Elstrom for next 15 years. So primarily, it is the management of these two contracts which NCRTC has to do, with knowing very well that what are the liabilities, the financial liabilities for next 12 to 15 years. So in this kind of situation, I could keep the team very small. Even today, when such a huge project is being implemented, the size of the team NCRTC is only 400 people, starting from peon to managing director, only 400. And this is a great achievement to my understanding within the given system, and the way projects are implemented, and the way government organizations are created. 400 is too small a number for such a complex project. I'm just leaving one or two slides which I thought I'll be discussing. If I come to something very interesting and new, is that for the first time in the country, the master plan of Meerut has been designed on TOD principles, the transit oriented development principles, where the city gets developed around the transit. The only master plan across the country, and I'm happy to share that NCRTC was the organization which helped in doing this. We drafted the TOD policy for the state of UP. We drafted the master plan on these TOD issues. A new uh, uh, special development area is being developed at the south and north of the Meerut, due to development of these two projects there, metro and RRTS. So major urban development initiatives are being triggered due to this project. This is one of the futuristic development for which land has been procured in the depot next to the depot station. This was a ADB supported project where we developed the master plan. And by following this master plan, if NCRTC carefully does all this, in next 10 years, the loan of 16,000 crore rupees, a major portion of that can be paid back through the property development initiatives within the available land with NCRTC. This is one slide which I like a lot. A lot of technology was leveraged while implementing the project, starting from the in-house speed software. Documentation of the project was being done through CCTV and time-lapse videos through the cameras, fixed cameras, and monitoring everything, the mobilization of labor, mobilization of machinery, so that which will help. This kind of documentation will help in arbitrations and maybe some kind of dispute resolution with the contractors once the project is coming to the closure. Then we implemented the common data environment. So each and every document which was moving, it was moving in the electronic form, and whether it was between the contractors and the consultants, the general consultants, or the NCRTC, each and every document is having a time and date stamp while it is moving between various offices. BIM, I discussed the GIS and virtual reality platforms we were using. The continuously operating reference stations, we introduced a new kind of surveying system, and where we established some satellite supported GNSS technology-based survey stations, we can pinpoint any location on universal coordinates on those 100 kilometers with the accuracy of 10 millimeter, which helped in making the tracks as per the design. And that is why the trains could run on the day one at 180 kilometer per hour speed during the initial trials itself. So BIM is not only helped us during the project implementation during the COVID time in the collaboration and so many other ways, but during maintenance also. So if you see that line at the bottom, that shows the construction is only for 4 years or so, the project.
Vinay, sorry to interrupt, but can you sort of wind up in the next few minutes?
Yeah, sure. I'll maybe 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
So the for 100 years life cycle of the structures, the BIM will help, and the data available in the AMS system will help. Now, if you see this, once we have the BIM data, it is very easy to use that for various kind of simulation. Like this is one simulation. I am just showing you the picture, not going to the video. If you see we can simulate. This is a station which is being simulated, the platforms and how people will leave in case of a fire. Those kind of situation we can simulate, and we can assess whether the staircases are being provided which are adequate or not. Now this is a simulation where it shows how the traffic will come to the entry exit of the station and from the main highway. So you can see how the cars which are entering. We see this kind of situation many times at New Delhi station and Nizamuddin station. When the cars which are entering, they get stuck. Similar situation we can see here also. So we can design the roads in a way, or the entry exit, so that the traffic is very smooth between the city and the station entry exit. So just to close, I would like to just show this very interesting slides which sometimes I show. This is when we deliver the project, many times the supervising people are more than the people actually executing, which is not a good structure. We never followed this kind of a structure, and the people who were working were more and the people who were supervising were much less. One more small video I'll share few seconds. This is also very interesting, which shows that if the teams are well trained, when there's a trust between the various team members, how the small team can do the work very fast. So this is a very classic case of F1 pit shop. So 22 people working, each one of them, they know what they have to do, when they have to do, how to collaborate, how to synchronize their actions. So within just 2 seconds, they are able to replace all the tires and everything. So this is all the Honorable Prime Minister opened all the three various phases of the project. We are very happy to be part of this project, and I'm very happy to be part of today's conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinay, for an excellent presentation. I think you've brought in a lot of innovation, new ideas, and so on. As far as questions go, Mr. Paranjpe had requested if you can tell him what are the endpoints of the metro.
Okay, so
Meerut.
So Meerut, the northern point is Modipuram Depot, and the southern point is Meerut South, which is actually at both the ends. If you see, this is the bypass where the bypass touches the road going through the city.
J.L. Singh has asked what is the timetable for completing the Alwar and Panipat lines?
So these two projects are still waiting sanction by the Government of India. So until this project are sanctioned, it is very difficult to predict actually. But the Delhi Meerut could be implemented in say about 6 years. By June, by the time the project will fully implemented, it will be 6 years. So maybe in similar kind of time frame, once the project is sanctioned, both the corridors can be implemented.
Mr. S.K. Suri is asking, in your opinion, how much revenue, I think, as a result of TOD will accrue to Meerut RRTS as a result of the TOD?
So Meerut, the northern point is Modipuram Depot, and the southern point is Meerut South, which is actually at both the ends. If you see, this is the bypass where the bypass touches the road going through the city. So maybe in similar kind of time frame, once the project is sanctioned, both the corridors can be implemented.
Mr. S.K. Suri is asking, in your opinion, how much
So the TOD scheme functions in two ways. Number one is that it is if the city authorities design the city development of city following the TOD policies, which are they have delegated the planning of that TOD to NCRTC, believing that we have that capability and this city organization don't have that kind of capability. If those plans are followed, because ultimately it depends on the implementation. If those project plans are followed, then a lot of revenue will accrue due to additional tariffs which are being imposed on property movement. Now, depending upon those formulations and what kind of implementation framework is created by the state government, whatever revenue will come, it will get divided between the state and the NCRTC 50-50. Those numbers, if I correctly remember, are in the range of 10 to 12,000 crores in next 18 years or so.
There's a lot of praise also put up here. Mr. Himakar Tata has mentioned lovely presentation in which both the technical and managerial and social challenges have been unfolded. But he goes on to say all this could be of great relevance in other regions in India where RRTS is proposed to be introduced. So are there other areas where RRTS is planned currently in India?
So as of today, there is no project which is sanctioned, but there as out of these two projects are going to be sanctioned in Haryana. These two will be in the Haryana. But other state governments like Kerala is working on one project, which earlier they wanted to make the high speed line. Now they are talking of RRTS. Mumbai wants to go for RRTS. And Andhra government is also toying with two corridors, RRTS corridors. So hopefully some of these we'll see in near future, maybe next 5 years or so, getting sanctioned.
Also other praise from Simanku Tiru, who has mentioned that great presentation. Personally, we have visited RRTS quite a number of times and are very privileged to see transformation of the transportation system in India. So I think everybody seems to have enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you. In fact, I got one opportunity to host the Rail Enthusiast Society members also. It was around 2 years back or so.
Yeah, that was really a very nice trip to Dubai. We also saw some locations en route, but we went to Dubai and saw your. It was at a stage where one of the rakes had come, and it was an impressive visit.
In fact, subsequently, 2 or 3 independent members of RIAS went to the Dubai depot and even traveled on RRTS. At least 2 or 3 members had done that. Simanko Taru is one of them.
So, what is your feedback, sir? Means in terms of the stability of the train,
No, all the feedback is good.
Okay.
All the feedback is good. Thank you very much for making this presentation and finding time to do it, particularly on a weekend. So thanks a lot. It was a really enjoyable presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Right, I think we can carry on now.
Thank you, Vinay, for this wonderful presentation. One thing I'd like to add is, while traveling from Delhi to Dehradun, one can see the progress over the years. And when you come to Modipuram, you know that the RRTS stops there, and now you are on your own to Dehradun. And the stations are also very interestingly designed. You didn't touch on that, but they're also very interesting looking.
Now, I was very impressed by the station at Sarai Kale Khan. It is so big that it's difficult to imagine that a station can be so big.
So it has been designed to cater for next 100 years. All 3 corridors coming to the same, and some few more corridors will get connected to these corridors, and there will be hell lot of passenger interchange at Sarai Kale Khan.
Thank you so much again. And I think it is time to now move on to the next